The Miami Dolphins signed 12 UDFAs after the 2024 NFL Draft, and on today's show, we are going to grade every single signing and kind of order them and which one I like the most and break down if any of these guys actually have a real chance to make the roster. Plus, stick around to the end of the video because we also have a couple names that Miami invited to training camp that doesn't actually account on the Dolphins roster, but will have a chance to make the team in September. But we are in an April sub-battle, and, well, we only got a couple days left in the month of April, and through 29 days, we have 575 subscribers. The Chiefs report, F Patrick Mahomes, F the Chiefs, F Andy Reid, F them all, has 611 in this month, so hit that sub button, and let's beat the Chiefs in our April sub-battle. All right, let's start with my favorite UDFA signing, and it is Storm Duck, the cornerback that initially started his career in North Carolina before transferring to Louisville. I graded this one out as an A-. He did not have a draftable grade, according to our own Tom Downey, but I am a fan of Duck because he has had a knack for being a ball hawk in college, and he did put up some good numbers. He struggled a little bit to start his career in Chapel Hill for the Tar Heels, but when he transferred to Louisville, he was really good in 2023. And you see his numbers on screen here. Like, he was able to do some nice things. His best year was his final season at North Carolina, but he was a major part of that Louisville defense that won was right there in the ACC, and I think they did actually end up beating Florida State in the final game as well in the championship. Storm Duck was a good part of that Louisville defense. Next one, Mark Perry. I graded this one at a B+, the safety from TCU. And listen, I got some intel from a TCU alum, and they had him as a guy who struggles in coverage but is athletic, not afraid to get into the box and make some tackles. So I do like this signing for Chris Grier. He did have a draftable grade by Tom Downey in that 7th round. I think Perry is going to be someone that really has a chance to make this roster. I'd probably rank him as the second most likely. He had a good year at TCU. Not a ball hawk, like we mentioned, struggled in his coverage, but he is someone who's not afraid to get his hands dirty and make some tackles in the run game. I think Perry could be a guy that gets in rotation of that 3rd-4 safety role, which would allow Javon Holland and Jordan Poyer to really just be more ball hawks, specifically Holland rotating around that Anthony Weaver defense. Who is your favorite Dolphins UDFA, though? Mine is Storm Duck. One, the name is the best. Two, I think he is the best player. And I also am a North Carolina football fan, so I have a special place in my heart for Storm Duck. But I do think he has the ability to really impact this Dolphins team and make the 53-man roster. Someone else where, listen, UDFAs don't make a lot of rosters. It's not common, but I do think Hayden Ruchi also has a solid chance to do so. The tight end from Wisconsin, I give it a B+ grade. And I want to give a little profile on Ruchi. 6'4", 247, so he's a big, thick guy. Not the most fast tight end of all time. Ran a 5.06 40-yard dash. Wasn't that impactful in the passing game. Only 11 catches for 125 yards in 2023. But the PFF grade him at 54.7. But I think the most important grade here that I wanted to share with you guys is the 66.3 run blocking grade. Will he be a good tight end in the receiving game? Probably not. But I do think he could actually make this team as a fullback, and we do know Mike McDaniel likes to use the fullback with Alec Ingold, who's been one of the best fullbacks in the NFL over the past 4 to 5 seasons. I think you get Ruchi in here, maybe you stash him on the practice squad, but learning behind Alec Ingold and being his protege could ultimately lead to him being the fullback for Miami in 2 to 3 seasons. This is a long-term play by Chris Grier, and I do really like Hayden Ruchi. I also like the upside of Byron Matos, and I'm giving this a B grade. And it's always fascinating when you see someone make the change and transition from basketball to football. Yes, you heard that correctly. The South Florida basketball player from the Dominican Republic is trying to earn himself a roster spot alongside the offensive line, 6'7", 1/8. Big fella, trying to be an O-lineman for Miami. Listen, it's going to be a long shot for him to make the roster, but in terms of the upside, because listen, we've seen it happen before with Antonio Gates, Jimmy Graham. Those guys are tight ends, but Matos trying to make that transition to the offensive line. If we were trying to get a guy, maybe DJ Burns should have been the call from NC State. Quarterback time, Gavin Hardison from UTEP. I'm giving this grade a B as well. And I will be honest with you, the stats are not pretty for Hardison, but he does showcase and have a little bit of arm talent here. 5-year player at UTEP, 4-year starter, 6'1", basically 6'2". Intriguing guy because if you watch some of his highlights, you do see the ability for him to throw the ball with some velocity over the field. And I saw one play specifically where he was rolling out to his left and flicked it down the left sideline in between a pair of defenders and found a guy. Listen, the stats aren't pretty, and he's got to work on his accuracy, but he does showcase some arm talent that is intriguing to me. You bring him in here, nearly 8,000 career yards at UTEP. The Miners, 40 touchdowns, 33 INTs. Does have to work on his accuracy, but the arm talent is something that intrigues me to be here as a fourth guy who could be developmental and maybe push Skylar, Thompson, or Mike White for QB3. Now, I will say this, though, as many of you guys do believe this as well and shared this opinion, I would have rather went out and got Taulia Tagovailoa. That last name sounds familiar. Yep, that is Tua's brother. He was from Maryland and right-handed quarterback, by the way. He was very good for the Terrapins, and I would have been intrigued to bring him in. Obviously, you get the good vibes of the brothers in the same room, and I really think he could have pushed Skylar Thompson or Mike White for that quarterback third position, but I guess they like Hardison, or Taulia just didn't want to be in the same room as his brother. All right, more UDFA grades to dish out, but make sure you are started with GameTime, the best ticketing app out there. And as spring and summer is approaching, playoff basketball, playoff hockey, concerts, NHL, MLB, they have it all. Don't miss any of the action because of ticket prices. You can get killer last-minute deals and all-in prices for big events with GameTime. Flash deals, zone deals, and the lowest price guaranteed. So if you're trying to catch a game, concert, or any event in your local area, make sure you download the app and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. There's nothing worse than going to an event and not being able to have good seats. With GameTime, they show you your exact seat. You can see the pictures on screen right now, whether it be in the Miami Hurricane, a Hard Rock Cafe, wherever you want to go and watch a game in the Miami area, or if you're not in Miami, they'll show you either way. It's the best place to find last-minute seats, so download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, let's move over to Grayson Murphy, the edge from UCLA, the most productive player on the UDFA signings for Miami. I give it a B, and now I'm not going to come out here and say that he is going to make the team, but he really is going to push some people in that locker room because he is as experienced as it comes. As you see here, started his career in Denton, Texas for the North Texas, what's it? Mean Green, that's right. I don't know how I could forget. Shout out Cullen Brown. Transfers to UCLA to play with his brother Gabriel Murphy and was one of the best edges in this entire draft class at pressuring the quarterback. If you stacked up every single edge rusher that was drafted, a UDFA signing, it does not matter. Grayson Murphy actually racked up the most pressures in his collegiate career. So Chris Grier is bringing someone in who is experienced and can be that sixth or seventh guy in an edge room that is also very crowded thanks to the drafting of Mo Kamara and Chop Robinson. And then you still obviously have the big three of Shaq Barrett, Jalen Phillips, who got his fifth-year option picked up today. Shout out to Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. Jaquin Burton, the wide receiver from Boca Raton, FAU, B- grade for Burton. This is more of a special teams at best situation, not the most flashy guy in terms of statistics and productivity. Only had 277 yards in 2023. 5'10", 187 from Orlando. Let's see if he could make it as a special teams because most of these guys in the UDFA class are not going to make the roster and have an actual impact. It's very rare that you can find those guys. So it's all about if you can make it and be a practice squad or fight for your chance to be on that special teams. I'll tell you what, since the draft is here and We're talking ball again. It's really fun. I wish the season was tomorrow. I wish Tua, Mike McDaniel, and Tyreek Hill were ready to go step on the football field tomorrow for a game. If you're with me, type me if you want the football season to already be here. Jordan Cobbert, B- grade here, safety from Rhode Island. A lot of defensive backs brought in by this front office. You have Cobbert, you have Storm Duck, Mark Perry, a couple guys we're going to get to in just a second as well, and Isaiah Johnson. Intriguing that they're bringing in so many guys, but you can never have enough bodies in that secondary, right? So I'm cool with this, B- grade. I'm not going to try to talk up these people because it is very unlikely that they are going to be on the roster. Final four that I'm just going to all give C+ grades to, a pair of offensive linemen in Andrew Meyer and Matthew Jones. Jones has a legit chance, obviously, starting in that offensive interior for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and then Leonard Payne, Colorado, and Isaiah Johnson from Syracuse. I'd be shocked if any of these guys find their way onto the 53-man roster, but if you had to give me any pick of these four, it would probably be Matthew Jones. And I also do find it intriguing that 2 UTEP minors were signed from the UDFA class. All right, like I mentioned off the top here, we had 4 invites to Dolphins training camp, not counting on the 90-man roster currently, which, by the way, is filled up to 87. I said yesterday, if my math was correct, they were 86. I also told you I was not good at math, so I missed one there. We are 87 on the roster, not 86. But these 4 guys are going to have a chance to make the roster as training camp invites. Jalen Sammy, the defensive tackle from Michigan State. Noah Tumblin, corner from San Diego State. Tyler Bentley, defensive tackle from Pitt. And then Samson Evans, the running back from Eastern Michigan. Fascinating player there. Just quick note, all-time leading rusher at Eastern Michigan. Let's see if he could do anything for Miami. All right, that will do it for today's video. As always, make sure you hit that sub button. We got to beat the Chiefs report in subscribers for the month of April. We're only trailing by, I think, about 30 or so. We'll be back with another video tomorrow, probably breaking down Mel Kiper's draft grades for the Dolphins draft class. All I know is he probably graded it way lower than I did, so shout out Mel Kiper. I don't know if he actually did or not, but make sure you subscribe to the channel because we'll break that down on tomorrow's video.